it's Lizzie from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you for joining me again today. Today I have got this little project for you. It's like a little handbag. It opens and closes as if by magic, and inside is a Ferrero Rocher. So perfect for table favours, for teachers' gifts. You could obviously change the contents and maybe put Easter eggs in, so it would be ideal for little Easter presents. You could get tea lights in there, all sorts. The measurements are, let me see if I remember, let's use the grid paper. So 2.5 across and 1 3/4 deep, and then about 2 inches tall. I say about because that is 2 inches, but obviously it's been squished in, so it's not quite 2 inches. I've used a magnetic closure. If you were doing this for kids, I would suggest that you use Velcro dots. So, because magnets probably not a great idea for young children. And then for the handle, I've just got a little ribbon. So really cute, really easy to make. It's not difficult at all. I'm using the How Sweet It Is Sweet, which I have to admit was not my favourite when this first came out in the spring summer catalogue. I haven't got the stamps and I haven't got the dies because I think this is great if you've got children. For adults, maybe not. But I love the papers. Now, I nearly didn't get the papers, but because I do paper shares, I kind of had to. So they're brilliant. Some of the outside, like what I would call the A side, not my thing. The patterns are too big, they're too cutesy for me, but the B sides are amazing. There is not one sheet of paper where I don't like at least one side of the pattern. So don't always be ruled by your first impressions. Sometimes it's worth having a look at the whole suite. So let's get started. I've used, because I don't have these stamps, I've used a different stamp set and I've used a punch. So let us have a look. This is the paper that I've chosen for today. This is not me. I don't like this. This is just too cutesy. This side, however, love it. The paper is 6 inches by 7.5 inches, and we are going to use the scoreboard. So, with the 6-inch piece at the top, we are going to score with my Take a Pick tool, which I love, at 1 3/4 and 4 1/4. Just checking my measurements. I've had a bit of a nightmare filming this video. I think this is the 4th time I've tried, and I've had phone calls, I've had the camera run out. It's just been a nightmare. So, whereas generally I film live, sometimes life just doesn't let you. So we've done our 1 3/4 and our 4 1/4. Then we're going to just mark at 7/8 and 5 1/8, and then turn your paper so that you've got the 2 marks at the left hand side. Score at 2 inches, 3 3/4 inches, 5 3/4 inches. Making sure your paper is at the top of your scoreboard, and 6 inches. Oops, 6 inches. That is all your scoring on the scoreboard, but we are going to do some more scoring because we need to join those marks to one of the corners. So we've got our marks here and here, and all we're going to do is with a ruler find the score line, this first score line here, and you're going to join from the corner of your score line, which is here, to that mark on the diagonal, and then the same again in the other direction, and that's just so that it will help it fold in at the side. So it's making this mark here. So again, we'll take our corner to our mark and our corner to our mark. Now I use this same marking when I did the wine bottle over the weekend. Friday. It was Friday, it wasn't the weekend. So yes, it's a fairly standard thing to do. Then just burnish all your score lines. Except the ones on the diagonal, those will just kind of happen. And there we go. Right, now we have to cut away quite a lot of our paper. We want, so if we've got our diagonal marks at the top, which actually you can't see because they are not burnished, so let me just pop those in for you. You don't need to do this, this is just so you can see them for the video. So we've got those kind of in. I don't know whether it's going to be easier that side or this side. We'll go this side. Anyway, so with those diagonal marks to the right, we are going to cut up our score line. I'm actually cutting so the score line is this side, so that's a straight line without the score mark. And then turn and do the same thing again. So again, that's my score line. Then fold that in and just cut about 1/2 inch, or leaving about 1/2 inch here, there or thereabouts. This is just so that we've got a seam, if you like. And then do exactly the same thing on this side. And I do like to hold the piece that I want to keep out of harm's way. And you can see I've not done that evenly at all, and it doesn't matter. It's great. Now this bit, so where that little mark is, that little rectangle is, and this whole piece, that's going. And again, I'm going to cut away the score line. And then I'm going to wedge there. So rather than cutting straight down the score line, I'm going to wedge. So again, let's wedge and cut, and I'm cutting away that score line so that it's a nice clean straight edge. So those are rubbish. And then here, again, I'm going to wedge on this side. I'm actually going to trim this down a bit more because it's a little wider than I want. So I'll just trim that down a wee bit more. It's really just to keep the bulk down. So we've wedged there. We'll wedge here, and I will show you the finished piece once I've done all the wedging. And then this score line here, again, we want to wedge. And I'm just, rather than cutting down it and then wedging on either side, I'm just doing a V to that point. So there we go. So we end up with this as a rectangle, and then 2 flaps, and this as a rectangle. Now, I would recommend that you use liquid adhesive rather than snail. You can use tear and tape, but for speed, I'm going to use snail. It's not ideal for boxes, particularly one that is, you know, reasonably constructed rather than just a straight-edged bag. For that, it would be fine, but this I really would use either tear and tape or liquid adhesive. And if you're using liquid adhesive, obviously Tombow is my recommended adhesive. It's great. It gives you just enough wiggle room, but dries reasonably quickly. But I would then, when you're constructing the box, I would leave each bit to dry. So, for example, we're taking our cut edge and popping it against our folded edge. That I would then make sure was dry. You can do the other side as well at this stage, but I would make sure those were reasonably dry before I then went on to do the next one. It just means that, I'm not quite sure if that's in camera, yes it is just. It just means that then everything has got a chance to kind of set properly before you then put pressure on it. Now I am just going to come in with my bone folder, and again I would recommend that you do this just to make sure that those are well and truly stuck, particularly as I'm only using snail. Now, you can at this point, if you wish, this is the point where if you push those sides in, it just kind of bends nicely. It doesn't need, you know, I did fold those a wee bit just so that you could see them, but you don't actually need to. It will just fold in. At this point, you can, if you want, punch, round your corners. Oh, brain ache. You don't have to. You could do it before you stick it together, but there is enough room if you do forget. Guess what? I forgot. If you do forget, you can just pop it in your corner punch because there's sufficient room. Right, I'm going to grab some ribbon, which is just here. And this is the mini striped ribbon from the annual catalogue. And I'm just going to get a piece that is long enough to tie a bow. Now, you can do this later if you wish, but I kind of like to do it now so that I know it's done. So all you're doing is, don't think I need quite that much, there we go. Tie a little bow. Ooh, oh, fingers and thumbs. It's because for me I need that way around. Don't know why, but there we go. It's just the way I do bows. I need to have the free end on my left. And I know it's quite tight at this point, but oops, and indeed is not long enough. This really is a blighted video. So I'm going to tie my bow, and then normally I would tighten from the top, but I'm going to tighten from the bottom, because that way you get a nice little amount extra amount of ribbon without too much. So having got that sorted, I can then tighten from the top. I hope that made sense. So tighten from the bottom, you pull these ends, so the loop, if you like. Tighten from the top, leaving the loop attached would be good. Tighten from the top, you pull the bunny ears. So it's either the bottom or the ears that you want to tighten from. And then, which way am I going? That way? No, that way. Trim your ends. And that way, if you keep your ribbon attached to your reel, you only use the amount you need. Right, so that's our handle sorted. Now we need to do our closure. Oops, let's put our handle so that it stays on, shall we? I have got here already punched a piece of Calypso Coastal Cabana card, just using the 1/2-inch hole punch. And this is one of those Neo-Diamond, never can pronounce it, magnets, which I've stuck on with a mini glue dot. Then just take a second mini glue dot, and I will need my piercing tool. This is the one which has got a kind of hook on the end, because I dropped it on my floor. And just pick that up and pop it on the inside of your bag. You want it about 1 inch down, and kind of in the middle-ish, and then just pop that there. Then get your second one, which I've got carefully off the side, and just, actually, hang on, pop your flap down, and then your second one will just find A, which way up it needs to be, and B, where it needs to be. So that's kind of okay at the moment. I'm perfectly happy with that, which I know sounds odd, but I am. So, Coastal Cabana card, and I'm using the Happy Birthday to You stamp from the Label Me Pretty stamp set, which is in the annual. Bermuda Bay ink, which is, I always think of Coastal Cabana's big brother. Ink up your stamp and stamp it. And then, now I did on the original, I'm going to here, just take my Wink of Stella and just add a bit of Wink of Stella on some of the flowers. I mean, don't go mad, I've done it on the banner, but just so that it's, you know, got a bit of pretty. Then, no, not the 2-inch hole punch, let's use the right one, the Pretty Label punch. Again, this is from the annual catalogue, and just punch. And now I need some more glue dots, and I'm going to attach a glue dot to that magnet. And actually, no, not yet. I'm then going to pop my punched piece over that, and you will see that it fits beautifully. It's as if I planned it. And then just very carefully pull up. Whoops. So you now know that this is kind of in the right place. We are going to play games with that again, because we're going to add more glue dots. So we're going to add a glue dot there, and then one on each end. And then bring that back down, let it attach itself again, and then you can glue your punched piece to the front of your box, and it's all beautifully hidden. See? Easy, easy. Right, finishing touch is glitter dots, so the enamel glitter shapes, which are in the annual catalogue. I'm going to take one of the purple ones, which I think is Gorgeous Grape, which I think is the colour that's in this, but it goes. So that's fine by me. And then that will take another Ferrero Rocher. So there you go. Isn't that pretty? Really cute little handbag. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Do remember that during Celebration, for every £45 you spend, you get to choose free items from the Celebration brochure. There's a link to that over on my website, and there's a link to my website in the description bar below, which will have the dimensions of this, plus some close-up photographs and list of the products and all that good stuff. Remember, where are we? Yes, we're still in March, in February rather. During February, if you order from me and you spend at least £20, you will get a Lucky Dip item, which is a brand spanking new but retired product item. I had a sort out, and I have rather hoarded some items that are now retired, so I'm going to give them to you. If you use the host code, you also get to share in the host rewards, so that's always good news. And if your order is under £150, then use the host code. If it's over £150, don't, because then you get your own host rewards. But remember, also, if you use the host code, you get sunflower rewards, and when you get 10 sunflower rewards, you get to have free product from me. So, thank you very much indeed for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't already subscribe, please do subscribe, and then you'll know when I've got a new video posted, because it will be there on YouTube for you. If you would like to see my newsletter, then again you can subscribe to that over on my website, and again the link to my website is in the description bar below. Thank you very much indeed, and I hope to see you again very soon. Bye!